We're seeing a obviously a surge in veganism among athletes now. I mean, as you are, I'm sure, painfully and acutely aware, James Cameron's got a film coming out called Game Changers in, I guess, this September. And you initially were to be in that film. And
We filmed
so,
it. We filmed for it.
and I assume that you will no longer be in the film. I'm guessing. I don't know. Can you tell me a little bit about that sort of situation
Yeah.
and how that all transpired?
Yeah, so Game Changers movie has been in the works for many years now, and we literally filmed. I had long hair at the time, which anyone that's followed me, that's years ago, maybe more than 3 years now. And we filmed my section, but they were getting all these different athletes, the main vegan athletes, and they'd filmed with Alexei Volyov, who's one of the few that I really looked up to as a representing the Russian strong arm wrestler, bobsled guy. And they filmed with me, and the main host is British guy. So they did a lot of filming in Britain, and we filmed over like 2 or 3 days. This is just towards the tail end of my physical capacities as a free runner. And then, years later, they're still filming it because each time veganism's growing, they're able to tap into more and more resources. James Cameron's on board and helping them to get other people on board as well. And it's growing, and suddenly Arnold Schwarzenegger and everyone's in it. And I emailed them to end of last year and just said, look, you might want to take me out. I'm not eating it. Before I came public with it, I emailed them just because I didn't want to give them the heat on their movie to be like, this guy is suddenly not vegan kind of thing. But honestly, I think since then they've filmed with so many people like Djokovic and Lewis Hamilton, Djokovic, I don't believe he's currently vegan. Lewis Hamilton, he's very new to it, if at all, if he's still vegan. As someone who's really lived it, like lived veganism, that was one of my realizations. Was I looked around and thought, I'm one of the top vegan athletes that people put on this vegan pedestal, and I didn't feel that good. And I looked around at these other athletes and thought, these aren't really top of the draw. They're not winning Olympic, like 100. There's no Olympic gold medals, right? There's no real, there's no one really truly representing compared to anyone that eats some animal products. I'm not even close. So if this diet is supposed to be optimum and thriving and beyond what other people do, it doesn't relate, and there's just no logic to it. So it's interesting to see that they're making this movie and they're getting Arnold Schwarzenegger involved, but he's got no experience in veganism. So I'll put it to you. I don't know if anyone out there wants to make. I actually truly, my beliefs now are probably similar to yours in the fact that I actually think it is a dangerous diet for most Westerners to do long term. I think it's great as a short term cleanse, and I would warn people against it. And so if anyone wants to, I feel like we've got a right to make a counter documentary that to just help warn people to not be so caught up in documentaries, because they can be dangerous and can make people, people don't think for themselves enough, because the documentary can angle it with the right musics and emotional pull-ins to make people make a choice like I did. And I want to warn people from doing that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, films are very powerful. I mean, we have, What the Health and Dominion and Forks Over Knives and all these documentaries, which are they appeal to emotion, and there's a lot of, obviously, agenda-driven stuff there. And James Cameron, obviously, is one of the best filmmakers in the world. I mean, he's going to obviously have a big impact on probably a lot of young kids. They're going to be out there inspired by that. They're going to see these athletes, and what they're not going to see is the Tim Shieff that's 3 or 4 years into it where his athletic performance declines, or the Novak Djokovic who has to give up veganism in 2016 because his health declined, or
I don't know that.
I mean, you just see it over and over again. We see all kinds of guys that do it for a year or two, and then their performance declines.
Well,
And I think it's just a unfortunate sort of bit of propaganda that's going to be out there. Did they formally tell you that you were not in the movie? Was there ever a point where you're disinvited from the movie or being associated with the movie? Did that ever occur?
I contacted them beforehand and said, you might want to take me out. And so they arranged a Skype chat, and I talked with them, and they said, look, we can offer you some advice if you want to speak to this doctor or whatever to help you. I was like, my beliefs have changed. Like, I've got a new understanding. Life has led me to a completely different understanding. And they're like, okay, cool. And so it was agreed that, I asked them to take me out, and they're not going to leave me in after everything anyway. So it was sort of just agreed mutually.
Tell me what you think.
Did Tim handle this well, given the circumstances? And do you have your tickets to the theatrical premiere of The Game Changers on September 16th? Let me know in the comments section down below. Hit that subscribe button for more content about The Game Changers, and make sure you turn that notification bell on. If you guys want to see more interviews with the cast and more content from The Game Changers, check out the Game Changers playlist. I'll throw up a link at the end of this video. Be sure to click on that right now. Alright, y'all know what time it is. Red Pill Vegan.